In a whirlwind of controversy and critique, Jon Stewart recently took aim at Meghan Markle's latest ventures, her cooking show and the podcast Confessions of a Female Founder, during a fiery segment on The Daily Show. With biting sarcasm and unrelenting critique, Stewart didn't just skim the surface. He tore through Markle's brand with precision, calling out the lackluster and uninspired content that has left many viewers disappointed. The backlash comes as no surprise to those who have followed Meghan's post-royal career. Critics argue that Markle's attempts to carve out a niche as both a media personality and lifestyle guru have been nothing short of catastrophic. Her cooking show, in particular, has been lambasted as a tasteless venture that neither excites the palate nor engages the intellect. Stewart's candid critique only echoed the sentiments of many who feel that Markle's latest offerings are more self-indulgent than insightful. The Confessions of a Female Founder podcast has also drawn fire for its perceived lack of authenticity. Critics point out that Markle's narratives often lack the relatability and depth expected from someone in her position. Stewart's criticism, therefore, resonated with an audience tired of the polished, rehearsed anecdotes that feel more like PR exercises than genuine storytelling. Stewart's segment was filled with unfiltered opinions, highlighting how Markle's ventures seem to prioritize brand expansion over quality content. He accused her of pushing a carefully curated image while failing to connect on a human level, a point that resonated with viewers and critics alike. To many, Stewart's takedown was a refreshing critique amid the often uncritical coverage of Markle's pursuits. While some fans remain loyal, others see this as a long-overdue reality check for a public figure who continues to struggle with balancing celebrity with credibility. As the dust settles from this explosive segment, one thing remains clear: Meghan Markle's cooking show and podcast have sparked more controversy than praise, and Jon Stewart's unyielding critique may just be the beginning of a wider reassessment of her public persona. The public response to Stewart's critique has been overwhelmingly in favor of his unapologetic honesty. Social media erupted with reactions, many expressing relief that someone of Stewart's caliber finally addressed what they perceived as Markle's superficial approach to media. For many, it was a moment of vindication, confirmation that Markle's attempts at branding herself as a lifestyle expert and advocate lacked the substance and credibility needed to resonate with a broader audience. One of the most contentious points lies in the disconnect between Markle's privileged background and the narratives she tries to present. Her podcast often features stories of struggle and empowerment, but critics argue that they come across as hollow and detached from reality. Stewart, ever the sharp-witted commentator, didn't shy away from highlighting this disparity, emphasizing how Markle's storytelling often feels more crafted than candid. Markle's cooking show has faced similar backlash. What was meant to be an intimate and inspiring culinary journey has been widely panned as poorly executed and lacking authenticity. Instead of showcasing relatable recipes and stories, the show often feels more like a branding exercise, an opportunity to reinforce the Duchess's carefully maintained public image rather than genuinely connect through food. Stewart's comedic yet pointed critique only added fuel to the fire, with audiences applauding his fearless commentary. Critics of Markle's media ventures often point to a recurring issue: the apparent prioritization of optics over content. Whether it's a podcast that feels scripted or a cooking show devoid of culinary passion, the common thread seems to be a lack of genuine engagement. Stewart, in his trademark style, captured this sentiment perfectly, remarking that Markle's attempts at relatable content often fall flat because they lack the lived experience and passion that successful lifestyle personalities bring to the table. Beyond just comedic critique, Stewart's segment reflects a growing cultural frustration with celebrities who, despite privileged backgrounds, attempt to position themselves as relatable figures of struggle and resilience. Markle's ventures, rather than bridging the gap between fame and authenticity, have inadvertently highlighted the divide. As Stewart pointed out, it's not enough to craft a narrative of empowerment when the foundation of that narrative doesn't align with lived reality. Some industry analysts suggest that Markle's approach lacks the spontaneity and rawness that audiences crave. In an era where authenticity reigns supreme, highly curated content can feel disingenuous, especially when it comes from someone who has been in the global spotlight for years. Stewart's critique didn't just mock the content, it challenged the very premise that Markle's voice holds the weight she claims it does. In the aftermath of Stewart's public takedown, questions loom about the future of Markle's media endeavors. Will this serve as a wake-up call to recalibrate her approach, or will she double down on her current strategies? The response from her team has been predictably muted, perhaps reflecting a strategic decision to avoid further controversy. Yet, the damage may already be done as public perception continues to shift. Ultimately, Stewart's critique has sparked a wider dialogue about the responsibilities of public figures in media creation. Markle's ventures may have been born out of a desire to remain relevant and influential, but without authenticity and substance, even the most carefully crafted projects risk falling apart. For now, Jon Stewart's cutting analysis has left an indelible mark on Markle's media image, one that may take significant effort to overcome.